It looks like we got some big information here about the next generation Xbox, the one coming from Microsoft and Xbox themselves. A new chart has been put out on the top selling games on PlayStation, and it's pretty wild the success of Xbox on PlayStation and how that strategy has worked out. We will take a look at that. The ROG Xbox Ally, the prices have now basically been confirmed, as well as the pre-order date, and I'm sure we will get more information about that at Gamescom. But we'll take a look at everything that has come out for the ROG Xbox Ally. Lots of other things to go over. Call of Duty, some of them are free now on Xbox. If you haven't picked those up yet, there's age verification stuff happening here because of laws in the UK that is directly affecting Xbox. And then there's some other stuff here to talk about with EA and the prices of their games. So we will go over all of these things. Lots of news today. But before we do get into it, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit the subscribe, share, like, all that stuff. But for now, let's get into it. So there is some big information here about the next generation Xbox, the one coming specifically from Xbox themselves. As we know, going forward into this next generation, there are going to be the OEM third-party Xboxes, and then there's going to be the one coming directly from their first party that they manufacture themselves, that they're going to be selling similar to what they have done across all of the generations of Xbox, starting with the OG Xbox. But Account on X has come out with some cryptic info, but information that is really pointing towards a lot of power in the next generation, even more of a big technical leap and powerful console than we got with the Series X. We know Sarah Bond said this is going to be the biggest technical leap. Colt Eastwood made a video about this, going over what all this means. So I will just give you some of that information here about everything we can expect as of right now from the next upcoming first-party Xbox device, the console, the at-home console, which will be on top, of course, the handhelds that they currently are working on with the ROG Xbox Ally coming out, and then whatever other handhelds that will be in the works from more than likely other third-party manufacturers. But they're saying this is the major technical leap everyone has been talking about, rivaling high-end desktop PCs. Now, I would say take all of this with a grain of salt, because it feels like every single generation, this always happens before the launch of the next-gen consoles. And one thing to keep in mind is that consoles still have to be in a competitive price point. There is one difference, though, going into next gen comparatively to this generation, and it is that base price, I think, is going to be much, much higher. Like, they don't care anymore about really trying to get in at a cheap cost. I think the next gen consoles will be relatively expensive, and this will allow them to put more power into these consoles. So this is right now called Project Magnus, and this was leaked here from the trusted hardware leaker Kepler L2. And we know that Xbox is working with AMD. So there's some details here about the AMD chipset. So they say here that the CPU could be a 11-core Zen 6 processor, 3 Zen 6 cores plus an 8 Zen 6C core, likely functioning as 10 cores with 20 threads. GPU would be a massive die here, 264 millimeter square graphics die with a 384-bit memory bus, rumored 36 gigabyte GDDR7 shared memory, which is a huge jump up here from the Series X, which is 16 gigabyte GDDR6. AI acceleration, of course, that's a massive thing going forward for the next consoles. I mean, AI is going to be massive, getting good frames and making sure games still look really, really good with all of the new tech and all of the new engines that are coming out in game development. So AI is going to be massive, and I think Xbox is going to have a huge role in that. We already know that the PS5 Pro is starting with their PSSR. They're also teaming up with AMD, and there's going to be a lot of AI in the next-gen consoles. Performance gains here, projected 20% boost in rasterization and a 2 times improvement in ray tracing over RDNA 4. So pretty big jump there. The AMD chip is designed for easier scaling across devices, so including the OEM consoles from 2026. And then the first party Microsoft console is expected to be coming in 2027. So there could be a staggered release here. You have the OEM ones, which people will be interested in, the next gen Xbox with higher power, and then Microsoft will release their own one in 2027 that will be even higher end, which makes me believe this thing is going to be relatively expensive. Like, this isn't going to be a lower end $500 price point, $400 price point. It's going to be $700, $800, $900, I think, with the big boost here in power and everything that they're going for. We already know about the open platform and just the fact that they want to bring PC, Xbox, consoles unified into one place and then give you access to all of your games. We're already kind of starting to see that with the updates they've made to the Xbox store on PC, where now you can stream your games, which gives you technically access to console games that currently aren't natively downloadable on the Xbox PC app. So they're starting there, but then the next gen, I think, will bring all of this into one place where any game you buy, play ball on the console, play ball on your PC, because it's going to be one ecosystem, one place to rule all of the places for gaming. So that's some big information here. I mean, that is a lot of stuff here. And again, take that with a grain of salt, because as we know, these consoles always get very much hyped up before they are launched. And then it is usually lower than what people are expecting, especially once the real world tests come in. But I will say the price points give Xbox the ability to give us something that does meet the expectations closer than I think ever before in any other generation. In terms of compute units, to say the next gen Xbox is rumored around 184 compute units, which is a huge increase over the Series X's 56. And the system will likely use unified L2 cache instead of Infinity Cache, improving performance today by reducing the need to access lower memory pools. So huge stuff here. This is going to be a big console. I'm very excited just to see exactly how they do handle this, because obviously we have the OEM stuff that apparently is going to be coming out in 2026, which is just right around the corner next year. Then you're going to have the first party Xbox console coming in 2027. How is PlayStation going to compete with this? What are their plans? Because they're not going to go the OEM route. They're going to only have a PS6. And when you look at the market, and if you're a gamer and you enjoy having choice, you're going to look at PS6, and then you're going to look at all of these options that Xbox has available that will play all of the same games, especially as we now have seen PlayStation is going more multi-platform. Their games will be available on Xbox, whether that is through Steam on PC or if the games actually natively launch on Xbox. So this kind of changes up everything with having many different choices and then having just crazy power based off of these rumors. So we'll see. Still lots of time before we get to hear more about these consoles. But if a console is coming out in 2026 from OEMs, I think we're going to hear about it relatively soon. You got Gamescom coming up, and then you're going to have the Game Awards, which that's maybe where we see it. You also have Tokyo Game Show and everything. So lots of time here still for information to come for 2026, or even maybe at the beginning of the year, Xbox has their own event where they do end up talking about the console. Now, when it comes to multi-platform strategies, we know it's working for Xbox very well. We recently heard that Forza Horizon 5 was the top selling game of the year on the PS5. And now Matt Piscatella put out a new chart here talking about the top selling games on the PlayStation platform for 2025. And there's an entire list here. And Xbox games dominate this list. Like more than half, 6 out of the 10 are Xbox games on the top 10 selling list here for PlayStation. It is actually pretty mind-boggling to think about just how well this strategy has worked for Xbox. They say, Matt Piscatella puts this out, pulling together our huge Q2 games market dynamics report, which includes this chart among, like, frankly, too many others, and just kind of stared at this one for a bit. Wild times in the console market these days. Imagine showing this list to someone in 2015. Here is the list. Not only is Forza Horizon 5 an Xbox game number 1, but The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is number 2. You got MLB The Show from Sony themselves at number 3. And then after that, for 4, 5, 6, and 7, all first-party Xbox games here. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Doom The Dark Ages, so that game did very well. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and then Minecraft. Then after that, you have Assassin's Creed Shadows, Grand Theft Auto 5, and WWE 2K25. So 6 out of the 10 games here that are top sellers on the PlayStation platform are Xbox games. And this really does tell me there was all of that just craziness about Xbox putting their games on PlayStation. The reason they did it was because they predicted that this was going to happen. This wasn't just for fun. This wasn't because things were unsustainable. All of that stuff. Sure, other things played into it. Probably the purchase of ABK does play a major role in making this move, but they must have done some analysis. They must have predicted that their games would be selling like crazy on PlayStation. They would be making a lot of money, which is at the end of the day, only thing that these corporations care about. And right now that strategy is paying off. And you have to be realistic about this. PlayStation is absolutely sitting in their boardroom looking at these numbers. Probably their minds are boggled looking at how much Xbox is making by selling their games on their platform. And they absolutely want a piece of that pie, which is why that job posting that came out last week that everybody lost their minds about, they're looking at this and they want to follow in the same footsteps as Xbox, even though they've been doing it for a while now with more games on PC. There's also games on Xbox already, but they want to be on the top of the list for the Xbox charts and for the Nintendo charts and for the PC charts. This is the way that the industry is going. At the end of the day, I think it is better for all gamers where you just get to choose where you want to play and all the games are there. You don't really have to care about all this exclusivity stuff that lock people out from enjoying different games on different platforms. The ROG Xbox Ally, this is the big flagship handheld coming out this year. It is the big one here from Xbox that is going to showcase their new handheld mobile operating system that I really hope makes big gains here in battery life and performance and everything, and just easier to use, because I always have found Windows on these handhelds not very fun to use. We've been talking about the price. There's been leaks, and it looks like all those leaks were correct, as Deal Labs here, which generally gets these things absolutely correct, says that ROG Xbox Ally will release for 599 euros, and the Ally X will release for 899 euros, and pre-orders available August 20th. That's exactly when Gamescom is. So this makes sense. Like, they are preparing for this announcement on Gamescom. I'm sure we will have all the info we need for USD, Canadian, Australian, UK, or wherever you live in the world, how much these things will cost. The thing that does intrigue me the most here is that price gap. The $300 price gap between these two units will have people actually having to sit down and really think about which one they do want to get. Which games do they play mainly on handheld? Is it actually worth getting the $900 console if you're only going to be playing like side scrollers or stuff that doesn't really need that huge power that the Ally X is going to bring? I know for myself, I do tend to really gravitate towards smaller games when I'm playing on my handhelds. So that has me already thinking, do I want to spend the $900 or however much it's going to cost here, or do I just want to save that $300, still get a great experience and play the games that I enjoy playing in handheld? So we will see, but those look like those are going to be the prices that are going to spread out across everywhere in the world. The conversion is still not sure how they're going to be doing that and what the prices will be. If you are looking to get Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, it looks like they are now free here on the Xbox store. So if you want to go pick those up, I would go ahead and do that now as this is showing up. These are actually working. I went through on these links, and Modern Warfare 2 for some reason wasn't in my library. I claimed that it was free. Modern Warfare 3 was already in my library. So they're free right now. And I think the reason this is happening is because Call of Duty's file size is getting reduced as they prepare for the launch of Black Ops 7. And with that reduction, Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 are being removed from the app, from the Call of Duty app. So they say here on July 29th, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 will be removed from the main Call of Duty install and become standalone downloads. But as of right now, they're actually free to claim on the Xbox store. So if you want to play those older games, now is time to go and claim them. The Call of Duty games usually go on sale a lot, but they're always relatively priced in a place where you're not getting it for like $5 or $2 or whatever, like you see on some of these massive sales. So pretty cool here that they are giving those for free as we do prepare here for Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which we will be seeing more about soon at Gamescom. Okay, age verification. There's some political stuff going on here in the UK. I honestly don't know that much about it. I saw some comments asking me to cover this and go over it. I didn't know everything that was going on, but in terms of gaming, age verification is hitting because of some UK Online Safety Act, and it is hitting Xbox players here in the UK, as I guess they have to follow the rules. So if you are in that part of the world, this is just something to be aware of. They say the age verification in the UK and Xbox's ongoing commitment to player safety, and specifically they say here that players who indicate their account age is 18 and over based in the UK and signing into an Xbox experience with a Microsoft account will begin seeing notifications encouraging them to verify their age. It is a one-time process for players in the UK and ensures we can continue to provide all players on our platform with age-appropriate experiences. So this act is coming in here, and you have to verify your age to get access to certain things. And we're seeing a lot of people talk about this in terms of censorship and everything, but if you are an Xbox, be aware this is incoming, and you're going to have to eventually do that if you are, of course, living in the UK. I don't live in the UK, so I haven't fully followed this stuff here, but there it is for people who are interested in what is happening here with age verification. Xbox gaming consoles, I'm guessing all gaming consoles are going to actually have to partake in this. So it's going to be interesting to see how many people want to verify their age to get access to stuff. I'm sure people will, because they've probably already spent tons of money on these platforms. They don't want to just not be able to access it, but a very weird time here in the world, politically and obviously in gaming, as we're moving to a whole new era of multi-platform. And finally, on Xbox front here, Obsidian's Grounded 2. This just came out. And to me, Grounded has always been a very interesting product and a very interesting game, because it comes from Obsidian. When they first announced Grounded and they released this game, it's not a game you would have really expected from Obsidian themselves, but it's a phenomenal game. And the first one did take off, and it looks like number 2 here, because of how good that first game was and the fan base that they have developed, is taking off as well, as Grounded 2 is already the number 1 top seller here on Steam. And we can go on to the Steam list. You see Grounded 2 here, number 1, and then the Founders Edition is actually at number 2, ahead of Counter-Strike 2 at number 3, currently sitting at around 50K concurrent players. And this is just on Steam. We've talked about the Steam numbers, and it isn't the only way you can evaluate how successful a game is, but they do give you the data right in front of your face. So that's why a lot of people do end up using it. Grounded 2 is also, of course, on Xbox Game Pass, and it's on Xbox, and I'm sure it'll be coming other places as well. But Grounded has just been an instant success here for Obsidian, who have carried the first-party Xbox studios in a lot of ways with just the sheer amount of games they release in a reasonable time. Like, their dev cycles aren't insane if you think about everything they have put out over the last number of years. If there is a studio to look at as an example on how game development should go, I would say it's Obsidian, because they release good games in a reasonable amount of time, and they are successful. So that's pretty cool stuff here when it comes to Grounded 2 still doing very, very well. And finally, let's talk some EA, because we have some great news here for Battlefield 6 as well as future EA games. People worried that they were going to be raising their prices $10, as I believe they were one of the first back when it went from 60 to 70 to actually put their prices up there, especially with their sports games and everything. It looks like they won't be raising their prices anymore, including with Battlefield 6. It will still be a $70 game. We have Andrew Wilson, who did talk about this during the company's latest earning calls. The CEO, Andrew Wilson, was asked about the game prices jumping up to the $80 for, like, their competitors do, or some of their competitors do. And Wilson then said the company isn't looking at making any changes on the pricing at this stage, saying that's in the construct of, we already offer a fairly broad pricing scheme across our various products. When you think about everything from free to play through to our premium products and deluxe editions, our orientation is always to capture the full spectrum of pricing so that we can serve players in the best way possible and offer them the greatest value. We'll continue to look at opportunities to deliver great value to our players through various pricing schemes over the course of time, but no dramatic changes planned yet. So Battlefield 6, with the big reveal still to come. We saw the single player campaign reveal, which looks phenomenal, but we're going to get the whole multiplayer stuff on July 31st. Now you can rest easy to know that you're only gonna have to pay $70 and not $80. Still expensive, but only $70 if you do want to get it day one when it does launch. One thing to note, for Game Pass members, you do get 10 hours of this game in the EA Play trial, because that's another perk that you get with Game Pass Ultimate. So you'll still be able to try this out for 10 hours, maybe play through the campaign, and then if you're interested, pick it up for the multiplayer. But I'm happy they're not raising the prices. I think that at this point, raising it $10 with the amount of money, especially EA, that they make on microtransactions, is just pure greed if they're raising it up to $80. But I'll end the video there. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. We'll be right back.